Hi guys, welcome to Exploring Art with me, Royce Deans. I've put together a 4-week series of classes to help us understand and draw the figure better. I call it figure drawing from the masters. Really, who better would it be to have as examples than the likes of Raphael, Botticelli, Sargent, Manet, and others? I like the idea of working from paintings that we refer to as masterpieces because there's a reason that they're called masterpieces. There's a reason that they've stood the time, and there's a really good reason why we're looking at them today and that we still talk about them. That reason is that those artists were good painters and they understood the figure, but they were also really good designers. So, as we talk about these paintings, we'll be able to dissect the compositions and begin to understand what makes these paintings so solid. Today, I want to talk about a painting that was painted in 1863 by Edward Manet, Olympia. This painting was exhibited first in 1865 at the Paris Salon. This painting got some crazy attention at that exhibition. The nudity of it didn't shock the Parisian art world, but what Manet gave us was Venus as a prostitute, and that, along with that confrontational gaze, it caused quite a stir. And we've been talking about it ever since. I want to show you this preliminary watercolor sketch that Manet did in preparation for the final painting. To see these sketches and any preliminary work from an artist, we get to a little peek inside of their process and helps us to understand better how the artist works through his or her way to the final piece of work. As we now look at the final version, we can see those strong verticals are still there, even though they're pushed way back into the dark background. Manet added to the solidity of the stage that he set for Olympia by contrasting those verticals with a few very strong horizontals that are below her. As we look a little closer, everything surrounding Olympia supports her form by echoing it. Look at the most important angle in the painting. It's the one that runs from the pit of her neck to down through her center to her left hand that's in her lap. And then look at the line that runs from her armpit to her right hand. It parallels that line. And then if we look at her arm, Manet sets up a series of angles that go from the first pillow to the second pillow and then slowly tips down towards the horizontal. These lines, again, echo her angle, but at the same time give her a support that helps us understand this very soft, luxurious mound that she's relaxing on. Let's look what's going on with her maid. Both of the major edges of that paper that wrap around the bouquet, they carefully repeat that important angle of Olympia's leg from her knee to her foot. And then let's consider that angle that's leaning towards Olympia that is formed from the maid's head and runs all the way down her dress to where it meets the mattress. I think that's a really strong line that really holds this together on that side of the painting. Enough about the composition of this painting, and let's see now what we can learn about the figure. Well, it looks like a straightforward pose. There's a lot of subtle complexity that makes it what it is. Let's look again at her torso center line. All of her structure and her twist work off of it. From that center line, we have the angle of her shoulders. You will notice that it's not perpendicular to the center. And next, if we look at the other end of that line, we see that her hips are at a different angle than her shoulders because her hips are pretty much squarely placed on the bed, and while her shoulders are turned towards us slightly. Can you see the difference in those angles? Next, the very important of her head and neck. Notice how it meets both the center line and the intersecting shoulder line. This is the main support for the force that drives that confrontational gaze that caused such a ruckus. Another aspect of this pose that makes it so good to study is the foreshortening we see in her arms. The way that her right arm is lying on the pillow gives us a great foreshortened view of her upper arm. Her left forearm wraps around her abdomen and starts to come towards us. By the time we get to her hand and fingers, we see them in a completely foreshortened view. I could go on and on about the anatomy of Olympia, and I will in the actual class. Hey, here's one more interesting tidbit related to this painting. The woman that modeled for this painting, one of Manet's favorites by the way, also modeled for another painting that also turned some heads back in the day too. Le Déjeuner sur l'herbe is perhaps even more of a talking point today than Olympia was back then. I just gotta say, that a way to stir it up, Mr. Manet. As I mentioned, this is a series that I have put together to learn how to draw the figure by looking at how the masters handled that subject. As you can see, there's much that can be learned about art and how to make it when you study the masterpieces that these guys made. I hope that you can join me for this 4-class series. We'll meet once a week on Zoom and dig pretty deep into one different painting each week. We'll be drawing from these paintings, and I'll be able to give you real-time feedback on your drawings. There will be assignments that I will give you that you can work on your own, and we'll review them the next week in class. So thanks for watching. Be sure to go to my website, roysteens.com, for details and times. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.